This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
For your information, we talk summer travel with a representative from AAA. Welcome to the weekend and welcome to FYI Weekend. I'm Ken Cara. Let's kick things off by talking with the Standard Speaker's managing editor, Mark Ketcher, about some of the week's biggest headlines and what's making news this weekend. Here's my interview with Mark. Let's go back in the week a little bit, talk about a story that had some steam, got some talk at least, either with letters to you or a lot of hits on the website. Kids and also one 18-year-old on a rooftop in the city of Hazleton. So that was kind of the story that had the most buzz this week.
Yeah. Sometimes it's breaking news that attracts the most attention to our readers on our website or in the newspaper. And this week was the case. Happened in downtown Hazleton. We got a call, a very curious call over the scanner, and heard what was happening and headed out with the news team and found that firefighters had responded because there were some people on the rooftop where they shouldn't have been. I guess it remains to be seen whether they were up to no good, as one firefighter put it in the story. But they were charged, and apparently they will be cited and asked to pay the cost of the response from the firefighters.
You had a picture of this in the paper too as well, right?
Right, we did.
Yeah, talk about the effect that really has, because I think that kind of pushed it along too. That's the first thing I asked. I said, was there a picture of it?
Sure. We had a few pictures in the newspaper of the response, the people on the rooftop, the ladders leading up to the rooftops, the aftermath when they were removed from the top of the roofs, and when they were being led away in handcuffs. So yeah, the visuals play a big part of a lot of what we do. Obviously, it's not video, but sometimes a still image can have a bigger impact with readers. So that was the case this week.
Let's move on to stories you are working on. If you drive in Broad Street in Hazleton, you've noticed signs saying paving is coming. Those dates have been changing. You've heard some chatter around town about it.
Right. It looks like PennDOT has put out signs saying that the date for the final pave on Broad Street on the corridor project has been changed. On the east side, it looks like now it's pushed to next week, May 12th. And on the west side, it was pushed to May 26th. That would be the West Hazleton end. Initially, the paving was supposed to get underway April 28th. So we have some questions about that. We're reaching out to PennDOT and trying to get those answers. And also, they've painted lines on the east side, which is somewhat curious considering that the paving there is going to begin next week. Heard some people asking some questions. Why is that happening at this point if they're just going to be paving next week? So we're trying to get some answers to those questions, and hopefully in the newspaper we'll have them for our readers.
It is Mother's Day weekend, and you mentioned Kent Jackson working on a story, a tragic story, but very interesting story as well, follow-up to a murder that happened in Hazleton 5 years ago.
Right. I won't give away too many details, but the story will focus on a murder that took place 5 years ago, this upcoming week, May 15th, and the focus is on the woman who was killed, and it's still an unsolved murder, which is the most unfortunate part about it. But it looks at how her family has struggled to cope in the 5 years since her death, and it's not your traditional Mother's Day story. When we write about Mother's Day, a lot of times it's a happy time and there's celebration and people are appreciating their mothers. But this family is looking at its mother in a different way, just because of what happened 5 years ago. So we'll tell that story on Sunday.
All right. Well, Mark, thanks for joining us on this weekend. Be sure to pick up the Saturday edition and also the Sunday edition of the Standard Speaker. Moving on tonight, hey Freeland, what's going on? Wait, I have the answer to that question in this weekend's From the Mayor's Desk. There's a rummage sale at the park sponsored by the Freeland Recreation Board, Freeland Senior Citizens, and Our Ladies Workers. The sale is daily from 4 to 8 p.m. There will be a bag day. That will take place on Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's also a Crime Watch meeting being held in the borough on May 14th at 7 p.m. at the Freeland Senior Center. The speaker will be State Trooper Dave Peters. Are you looking to travel this summer? Lisa Sugar gets some travel tips from AAA.
We're pleased to welcome back Jenny Robinson from AAA's Mid-Atlantic Division. We're here to talk today about finally warmer weather being upon us, and hopefully that means more people getting out and about. So Jenny, what does AAA see? Has the very cold winter impacted people that now they are just anxious to get out and travel?
Oh, who isn't sick of the winter? You know, we're so glad it's over. Everybody is. And as the winter wore on, we saw a lot of people coming into our offices, our retail stores, calling us up, going on the website, and booking trips. We've seen our bookings go up about 25% as we got later into the winter. We don't have spring numbers yet. But, you know, people have been coming into our travel agencies and saying, get me out of here. You know, so it's understandable. People are really tired of that winter. And we have seen an increase in the requests for trips to places like Mexico and the Caribbean. And also a lot of bookings to Europe, and maybe not so specifically fueled by wanting to see a warm destination, but I think even just the idea of looking forward to that summer trip, wherever it may be. And if you planned to go to Europe, that it's a good time to book it. You know, we had a sale on our Europe trips earlier this year, and people kind of trudged in the snow and, you know, booked the trip and had something to look forward to.
I guess, you know, so many people so disappointed with the winter and how it's been. The economy's tough in that, but just like you said, having something to look forward to, is that what people really want to do? They say, regardless, we're going to try to afford this and try to get out, whether it be via vehicle, you know, traveling around, or booking a flight somewhere.
Well, you know, the economy has been tough on a lot of people for a lot of years. We did see some improvement last year. We saw an increase in our summer travel projections and more people traveling, and so the trend looks good so far this year. So we're going to hope that economy stays a little bit better and allows people to travel. And we have seen in previous surveys that people really want to take those trips. And if they're tight on funds, maybe they figure out where they're going to economize. Maybe they stay in a less expensive hotel, or maybe eat at less expensive restaurants.
Okay, but people are getting out and about as best they can, and hopefully the weather will cooperate that we can all have a great vacation this year.
I hope so too.
Thank you so much for stopping by our studios. We appreciate it. We hope to talk to you again as the weather continues to be nice.
Thank you.
Jenny Robinson from AAA's Mid-Atlantic Division. For FYI, I'm Lisa Sugart.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, I have some instructions now. Go up to your television right now, take out your phone, and take a selfie with the FYI logo in the background. Guess what? You have just been entered to win our Selfie Saturday contest. You just have to post that picture on our Facebook wall, and you could be entered to win a chance to win an oil change at Berger Family Dealerships. And here's a picture of our winner from last week with Ron Marchetti in the background. Coming up, we'll tell you about an interesting project some local college students participated in, and listen up. Next up, we start a segment called Listen Up. We'll be right back.
This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
Welcome back to FYI Weekend. We're very excited about a new segment called Listen Up. Every week we are going to feature a band in the greater Hazleton area who performs, and they could come on and they could jam out with us a little bit. And the band that we're going to talk about today is Sterling Cook Band and Trio, and Jean Babula is a member of the band. But before we get to Jean, listen up. Well, that was just a little sneak peek of a performance by Jean Babula and the band Sterling Cook Band and Trio. So thanks for coming on the show.
It's fun being here.
So tell us about your band. How long have you been around?
The band's been together, we're going on our 3rd year now. The trio's been together a few short months.
And you have some gigs coming up?
We do. We have the Blue Mountain Summit coming up on the 16th of May, Friday. Hamburg Art Fest is on Saturday the 17th at 1 p.m. And Legends Cafe down in Lebanon at 7 p.m. And then there's the benefit for Stephanie Punkari on Sunday the 18th.
All right, so you have a lot of things coming up, and I know the reason we started this segment was because I work with a lot of people in bands and performers, and they do so much. You guys do so much for the area that is free, and you do a lot of fundraisers, so we thought, why not welcome you on for free to promote your event?
It's something to take advantage of. Anybody that's a player out there, musician, solo act, get a hold of Janine and get yourself out there, expose yourself.
Yeah, and listen to all the music that we have right here, all the talented people we have in the greater Hazleton area. So thank you to Jean. Again, if you're a musician out there, you're in a band, you play by yourself, or you have a trio, contact me by Facebook, Janine SSPTV, or right here at SSPTV. We're here every weekend, Saturday and Sunday on FYI Weekend.
It's the first time, but I love that segment. Lisa Sugart is getting ready to join us with a story about a class project that grew into an interesting book of stories about living in this area.
My guest today is Dr. Stephen Accardi, an assistant professor of English at the Penn State Hazleton campus, here to talk about a rather unique project that he gave to one of his classes, a freshman class, English 15, which is rhetoric and composition, and it had some interesting outcomes as well. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us what the project was that you gave to the freshman students.
So the project is what's called in my field a community engagement project, and that's where students would expand the boundaries of the classroom into the community. And so they went out to local Hazletonians to find out what it was like to live here in the past 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And it started off as a project where students went to the Hazleton One Community Center and worked with adult ESL learners and got to know their story of what it's like to be an immigrant in Hazleton. And then other students branched off into just general people living in Hazleton for the last 50 years and met in Walmart or McDonald's or wherever they had people that they wanted to talk to them, and got just these great stories of what it was like to live in Hazleton. I think we had 51 students interview 41 people in Hazleton overall. So the book ended up being about 150 pages overall.
So that's the interesting part as well. You've composed all of this into a book and people can have access to it and read it. So were you surprised with the outcome, and were the students surprised with what they received back in feedback and what this all meant?
I didn't compose it. Those are my students. They did all the hard work. But I think they were surprised at how honest people were with them. I mean, some people talked about some very personal struggles of drug abuse or teen pregnancy or racism in Hazleton and the struggle of the current economic conditions in Hazleton, or drug violence, or drugs and gang violence. And so I think they were surprised of how honest people were with them, and I think my students did a really good job to try to capture that voice in the stories, and it comes out as a very honest take of what it's like living in Hazleton in 2014.
And the bottom line is you found a commonality of everything, that most people have the same goals in life.
I think so. I mean, I think when you read one story back to back and back, if this person's been living in Hazleton for, again, 50 years or just got here 5 years ago, it seems like if they're someone from the Dominican Republic or someone from Italian descent, they just want to find a good job and they just want to raise their kids in a good place. And I think once we strip away all those other labels and all the kind of polarizing differences that we hear so often in Hazleton, we just begin to see that people just want the same things.
Oh, very good to hear that. If anyone out there, and I'm sure there are many who would like to read what the students have all gathered and put into a book, how can they find the book? Where can they read it?
So there's copies at the Hazleton Public Library, at the Penn State Hazleton Library, and at the Hazleton One Community Center also has copies. And I do have several copies extra in my office, so if you wanted to email me, my email is sra15@psu.edu.
All right. Well, a great project. Thank you for joining us, and keep us updated if there's any more interesting projects like this coming down the road.
Thanks for having me.
The Memorial Day weekend is fast approaching, and with this in mind, the Hazleton Police Department will host a National Police Officer Memorial Day ceremony at Hazleton City Hall. The purpose is to pay tribute to law enforcement members past and present, along with those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. The ceremony is this Thursday at 1 p.m. at City Hall. The public is encouraged to attend. Meanwhile, train enthusiasts can enjoy a ride through the Lehigh Valley Gorge from Whitehaven to Jim Thorpe on Saturday, May 17th. The trip is a fundraiser for the Whitehaven Ambulance, and it will leave at 10:30 a.m. from Whitehaven's new community library. And the ride will go south along the Lehigh River. It goes through the Rockport Tunnel and then Riverside until the train crosses into Jim Thorpe for arrival at its historic business district at around noon. The passengers will enjoy 4 hours of shopping there and exploring before returning to Whitehaven. Tickets for this event are $40 for open air cars. For regular coaches, $30. So last year's trip sold out, so you're encouraged to get in touch with the numbers and information on your screen if you are interested in participating in this event.
It's time for Movie Minute right here on News 13, your weekly look at what's playing at Regal Cinema 10 just outside the Laurel Mall. 2 new releases this weekend. For the whole family, check out Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return. Glee star Lea Michele slips on the ruby slippers for this animated 3D musical update of The Wizard of Oz. Young Dorothy is transported back to Oz and embarks on a quest to save her old friends the Lion, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man. And how about the adult comedy Neighbors? Seth Rogen, Zac Efron, and Rose Byrne lead the cast of Neighbors, a comedy about a young couple suffering from arrested development who are forced to live next to a fraternity house after the birth of their newborn baby. Still playing The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Captain America Winter Soldier, Rio 2, The Other Woman, A Haunted House 2, Heaven is for Real, and The Quiet Ones. For all the showtimes, call Regal Cinema 10, 570-450-7454, or to speak to a movie attendant, call 570-450-7340.
This is FYI News 13 Sports.
On Monday, the Hazleton area boys tennis second doubles team made highlights in our Know Your Teammate game. Nick Makuta and Rich Gal went a perfect 8 for 8. Can their teammates Wister Juhas and Donnie Tedesco match that score? Let's find out. Things are going great for Hazleton area #1 singles player Wister Juhas and second singles player Donnie Tedesco. Right now, Wister is answering questions about Donnie.
Favorite movie? I'd also have to say The Wolf of Wall Street. Really? Yes.
Nailed it again.
Why is that? Is this a team thing? Yeah.
It really is. We watch it before every game, practice.
You really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we usually watch clips on the bus before. Leonardo DiCaprio was a great speaker and motivational speaker in the movie, and that's what we do on the bus before the matches.
Wister does well, but he does get one wrong, so they can't match their teammates' perfect score. But let's see how Donnie does when we ask him Wister's favorite subject.
Probably English. I don't know. Maybe.
No, English is not my favorite subject. That's my least favorite subject, actually. I'm more of a math guy. I'm in trig right now. It's probably my favorite subject. I just like the concepts of math and just how, I don't know how you figure it out, how there's an answer for everything in math.
Nick Makuta and Rich Gal had an answer for everything on Know Your Teammate, and they are champions. The two just started to play together this year, so what's their secret?
I guess it was just from all of our away matches that we've been playing that we've really connected on the bus for the time that we had.
The Cougars had to play every match on the road as their courts get ready for repairs, and the team won the Wyoming Valley Conference AAA Championship, and Makuta and Gal dominated in Know Your Teammate. We'll see you next time, folks. Guess who's renting Wolf of Wall Street this weekend? I'm lucky to be doing anything this weekend, and I owe it all to former Hazleton area baseball standout Carl Cara, who's also my cousin. I was talking with Carl at Hazleton area's game against Berwick when this happened.
Whoa. That hit off your hand.
Yeah, I blocked.
You saved my life.
Carl Cara earns our Play of the Week for keeping me alive and our camera intact so we could record more plays next week. Remember to check out our Facebook page for sports extras and read the Standard Speaker Sports section for complete coverage of all our area teams. The weekend, and I love sitting at a high top, ordering some delicious apps and having a few beverages with my friends at Bottlenecks, where they have an awesome atmosphere with awesome food.
Hello again, I'm Chris at the Hazelton Animal Shelter, and here I have with me Laura. Laura is an approximately 3 to 5 year old little Shih Tzu, maybe Lhasa Apso mix. She's very friendly and loves people. She really likes to be held. She's a little bit shy when you first meet her, but when she gets to know you, she's incredibly affectionate. She has a decent amount of energy, as many small dogs do, and being 3 to 5 years old, she could still not necessarily be considered a senior. Little dogs like this have a lot of life in them. She could probably live to be about 15 or to 17 years old. She's bonded very quickly with all of us here at the shelter. Laura's up to date on all of her shots and is awaiting her heartworm and Lyme test and waiting to be spayed. And this time of year, it's important to mention that as the weather gets warmer and we take our dogs out for more walks, they're much more likely to encounter things like fleas and ticks. So it's really important all year round, but especially this time of year, to keep them guarded by whatever medicines you have available to you or whatever you can get at your vet. Also, I'd like to mention all of our dogs are tested for heartworm and Lyme before they leave us. That's it for Laura. Now we'll have a look at our cats. Hello again. Here I am in the male cat colony with one of our cats, Bentley. Bentley is a young adult, probably about 2 or 3 years old. He's a domestic short hair who has a gray and white tuxedo pattern on him. It's a very beautiful little cat. Not only is Bentley up to date on all of his vaccinations, including his feline distemper and his rabies, but he was also tested for feline leukemia and FIV. Bentley's been here with us for a while, and he gets along really great with the other cats. So he would be great in basically any home with people loving enough to care for him, but I think he'd also do very well with other cats. So if anybody at home is interested in our Laura or little Bentley here, just come on down to 101 North Poplar Street at the Hazelton Animal Shelter. Till then, I'm Chris. Thank you very much.
We want to wish a very happy birthday to Mason Mazurkevich, who is turning 9 on May 10th. He's the youngest member of the SSPTV family, so happy birthday, enjoy it. Also, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Mom, I love you. Have a good one this weekend. I'll see you for a panini party. And everyone, enjoy your weekend. Take your selfie and post it on our Facebook page. We'll see you on Monday. Until then, take it easy.